Hello, my name is Leith-Manos. Welcome to this hotel review. I've been a global luxury hotel reviewer for over 2 decades. My passion for the five-star hotel industry stems from its dynamic nature, much like the world of theatre, with its blend of front-of-house elegance and behind-the-scenes precision. For most of our reviews, we're invited for a 3-night stay, but importantly, hotels or their public relations teams have no input in shaping our reviews. And like you, only see a review once it's published. We highly value your feedback on our reviews and encourage you to share your thoughts below the review.
There are hotels that you stay in, and then there are hotels that receive you. The Dorchester is absolutely the latter. From the moment your car glides into Park Lane and slows beneath that perfectly choreographed entrance, doorman entails the faint reflection of Hyde Park across polished glass, you feel it. This isn't just a check-in to an ordinary 5-star hotel, and this isn't even just an arrival. But somehow, nearly a century after opening in 1931, the Dorchester still does something very few hotels in the world can do. They make luxury feel alive. No, not staged, not sterile, not trying too hard. Just deeply, confidently, effortlessly luxurious. I stayed here in one of their Hyde Park suites a few months ago, and over the next few minutes, I'm going to take you inside what is still quite possibly one of the most iconic hotel experiences in the world. The first thing you notice when you walk into the lobby and into the Dorchester itself is the scale of the place. It is just so huge. And then the flowers. The Dorchester underwent a very significant renovation, multi-million pound, and it really shows in that lobby area. The flowers are not arrangements, they're not decoration. They're architectural floral statements, and they're just so big. And there are so many of them. And if you stay for a few days, like I did, they change. They refresh them all the time. I can't imagine what the flower bill is at the Dorchester, honestly. Towering vases filled with roses, as full that they almost spill over the edges, hydrangeas the size of your head, orchids cascading like waterfalls. You don't glance at them, you orbit them. And some of these appear in your room. I mean, I had multiple different flowers delivered during the stay, but they're everywhere. They're in the bathrooms, they're in the restaurants, but each one feels freshly curated, perfectly placed, not just decorating the space, but to set the tone, the ambiance, the beauty, the generosity, the opulence. I mean, if there's one word that sums up this hotel, well, two maybe, it's beauty for me, beauty and opulence. But then you move through the reception, because in the reception there's 2 sides and you have massive artworks behind each of the reception desks. One's the check-in and one's the concierge. And the artworks themselves are just breathtaking. I could spend, 20 minutes just looking at each of them. They're so big, they're so detailed. There's a bit of gold, but not gaudy gold. This is class personified. Then you walk through the doors into an area called the promenade. And again, it's just huge and elegant and beautiful and opulent. And this is where the Dorchester really reveals its true personality, in my opinion. It's like a stage. And I often say that when I review luxury hotels, it's very much like theatre. Well, the Dorchester really is like being on stage. You'll see a woman in Chanel ordering tea, couples having quiet breakfasts, business meetings unfolding over espresso. Everyone's well dressed, and someone always arriving or leaving in something fabulous with gorgeous suitcases. There's a soft hum of conversation, the delicate clink of china, live piano music in the evenings, drifting just enough to be noticed, but never intrusive. There are multiple different types of rooms at the Dorchester. I was very lucky to stay in a suite, and I have to share with you, I was staying with my daughter and we went upstairs in the elevator. And as that elevator opened and we were walking to our suite, there were 5 people standing by the door and saying, "Welcome, Mrs. Manos, welcome, Miss Manos, welcoming us both." And they were the various butlers from the hotel. And I don't know, when you've traveled a long way, Sydney to London is a long way. It really did feel lovely. It felt warm. It felt friendly. There are people I know who may not like that. They read us well. We loved it. So this is the suite is where the Dorchester really moved from impressive to unforgettable. I mean, our suite was massive. It was like staying in a not a, in a mini house. I was going to say an apartment, but apartment is bigger than an apartment. It's called a Hyde Park suite, and it was large. I think around 100 square meters, if I had to put a size on it. But more importantly, it felt expansive. It felt so luxurious, and the interiors were just mind blowing, honestly. The huge, tall French doors open into Juliet balconies overlooking Hyde Park, and that view is just stunning. And I have to remind myself that, well, it reminded me rather of that vision of Michael Jackson. I know he terribly daggled his child over, but I'm sorry, it made the Dorchester just iconic even more. The fact that he would stay there, he was in one of these suites. And the press were all down below. And often you see press outside the Dorchester because so many famous people stay there. But I'll get to that later. In London, space is luxury. In all the world, space is luxury, whether we're talking about Singapore, Sydney, London, Paris. It's so greenery and space, which is combined in this amazing suite. This is true opulence and luxury. And I really felt, even, within this room, like we were staying in a private club rather than in a hotel, in a good way. So waking up and pulling back those curtains and seeing the uninterrupted sweep of Park Lane and Parkland, it gives you the unexpected sense of calm in the middle of one of the biggest cities in the world and in one of the most famous streets in the world, in Park Lane. The bed itself, the headboard, it isn't just decorative, it's hand painted, which, by an artist, I believe, Gournay. So I caught myself looking at it all the time, especially in the morning light with the light coming through the window. Mine was navy, but noticing the brush strokes, the softness of the colors, the fabrics, within the room itself, classic English florals. They feel rich without being heavy. The carpet underfoot is thick and soft. And then there's the dressing room. It's not a cupboard, it's a proper room. Everything has space, everything has a place. And I have to tell you a story about the butler, excuse me. He rang when we checked in and said, how's everything? Are you girls happy up there? He said, because I think your daughter might not be happy with the makeup situation in the dressing room. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, the light isn't that great. And I thought, oh my gosh, he's already anticipated this. I, as her mother, hadn't. She's 18. And he brought up this light board for her, like in a Hollywood, dressing room, and plugged that in. And she said to me, Mum, this is the best thing that's ever happened in any hotel. So this is all about knowing your guest and knowing what they want. And the Dorchester has this in spades. The bathroom, marble, of course, lots of marble, but beautifully lit with that flattering, warm lighting that actually makes you want to spend time there. There was no rush to, out of the shower. I just cleansed my face really slowly. And the feeling throughout was just comfort, not showy, not over designed. We had a full dining table, which was really great because I decadently got my hairdresser to come in and do our hair during our stay. And there was lots of room for her to do that. They delivered lovely fruit and little snacks and sweets every day throughout the stay. And as I've already said, fresh flowers, deeply, quietly luxurious. This is a hotel room that was really hard to leave. And we met our neighbors, and we even went downstairs one night because we were just I said to Stella, my daughter, we're in one of the best hotels in the world. We're not leaving. We're eating here. We're drinking here. We're chilling here. We're really going to enjoy this hotel and really experience it so I can understand it for my audience. So one night with our neighbor, we went down to the Vespa Bar, which is an amazing bar as part of the new renovations downstairs. And that was truly like being in a private club. We were treated so beautifully. We got elevated to some of the best table in the place. We could, do some great people watching. But the staff knew that we were staying in-house and really looked after us. And honestly, it was difficult to decide whether to stay in the room together and chill and have a drink or go down there. It's just a beautiful, beautiful ambiance everywhere in the Dorchester. Now let's talk about breakfast, because this is where the Dorchester really understands indulgence. Now, anyone who watches my reviews and reads my reviews knows I'm not a big breakfast person. That all goes out of the window at any of the Dorchester collection hotels. And what I loved about the Dorchester in London is that there's two venues. You can have it in that grand promenade section, or you can choose to go into the grill. I think that was because when we were staying, it was really busy, but I think the Dorchester is busy pretty much all year round. So in the promenade, you have an amazing menu, and you've got, of course, that amazing people watching. And there are people, including myself, who just adore sitting there. You're surrounded by, this art all on the walls. The promenade is massive. I don't even know how many meters long it is, but it's huge. It must be 100 meters or 80 meters. I don't know, but it's very long. But then the room off to the side, the grill, is one of their beautiful restaurants by night. And by day, they have an incredible buffet there. And you can sit down and help yourself to the buffet and order a la carte. So we went for that because we were just overindulging ourselves. And what I really loved was coffee arrived straight away. They remembered our coffee order. That's one of my favorite things in a luxury hotel. But they have all the modern things that so many hotels still haven't caught up with. And I had the perception that perhaps the Dorchester was, stuck in the dark ages in some way or other. They're not. We had chia pudding, which was beautiful. We had dukkha in the morning, like to dip bread into. We had loads of salady type things, nuts and seeds. There were protein balls. There were protein shakes. They understand, the food and beverage team here understand that things have shifted with breakfast, especially for young people. But, I'm not that old. And I wanted all of those healthy options as well. And then, of course, we could order off the menu. But again, there were egg white omelets. There were healthy choices. So you don't have to feel heavy and feel sickly from having just too much. But if you do want that classic English breakfast done exactly as it should be, it's there. But there's Bircher muesli made on site, natural yogurt, beautiful berries and fruit. And there's the indulgent eggs Benedict pancakes, French toast. They've got everything covered here, and you can take your time. We sat there for hours. I mean, the FT has to be one of the most brilliant papers in the universe. And sitting in the Dorchester in the grill room, having breakfast, reading the FT, that has to be one of the greatest things in the world to do in a luxury hotel, period. Other elevated options, I mean, the options just keep going. Nothing is rushed. Because I think they have these two spaces, they don't have to shuffle people out. We've come to a moment in time which really frustrates me, and I think frustrates a lot of luxury diners, that we have to rush out. If I'm paying a lot of money, I don't want to, have to eat my dinner in 2 hours. Well, the Dorchester at breakfast at least doesn't do this. You can just sit there and sit there. I mean, 2 hours is plenty for breakfast, let's be honest. But mind you, they're not rushing you. And there's people coming in, and if the grill are full, they've direct them to the promenade. So yeah, it all feels beautiful. The quality of the plates is something I don't normally notice. It was outstanding, and all of the crockery was beautiful. And I have to remember this beautiful staff member. I can't recall her name, and she had something wrong with her eye. And I said to her, "Are you okay? I can see." And she said, "Yes, my curtain snapped and hit my eye this morning." And I said, "Well, why did you come to work?" She said, "Because it's Sunday. It's going to be really busy, and I really love my job." And that just speaks volumes about how this company treats their staff, how the staff feel. But I feel like even having breakfast, that club feel was there. It's like we're participating in something. These people made us feel, the staff, I mean, like they knew us, like they cared about us. And and I think, to be honest, for my daughter, I mean, for me, obviously I work in the industry, but for my daughter who doesn't, I truly think our stay there and our breakfast there is something that she'll remember for the rest of her life, and she'll return there for that. So dining generally at the Dorchester, look, dining at the Dorchester is something that is really a destination. It's not just an afterthought. This hotel, there are people that fly from all over the world. The quality of the restaurants is so good. Now, we're in an era now where so many luxury hotels are focused on amazing restaurants and attracting people to stay for their restaurants. The Dorchester have been doing this for decades. Francois Delahaye, who's the COO, and he's an absolutely brilliant luxury hotel operator. I'm sure he had a lot to say about this and a lot to do with this when it started kind of 20, 30 years ago. So that now this hotel is always full of people, full of incredible dining options. It is just an absolute joy to eat there, to stay there. So some of the restaurants, I'll go through them. You've got Alain Ducasse, of course, one of the most famous chefs in the world, 3 Michelin stars for Alain Ducasse, and an experience that is precise, elegant, and unapologetically refined. You have to book all of these before you arrive, particularly Friday, Saturday, they're booked out. Then there's the grill, which feels more relaxed, more social. It's modern British, beautifully done, and is really one of the most famous British restaurants in London. I've eaten there before. I've had some magnificent dinners there. Again, I mentioned it in my breakfast review here, but it's red, it's gold, it's spacious, it's elegant. There's lots of room to breathe, to move, fantastic menu. I'm a big steak person, so the grill I really, really love. And Chinatown. Who hasn't heard of Chinatown who loves luxury food in London? It's downstairs. It's super glamorous. It's slightly theatrical, as I would say everything is at the Dorchester, and one of London's most atmospheric Cantonese restaurants. And of course, Chinese now is also having a big moment globally, and it's just incredible food. And also, what I love at this hotel are the bars. There's the artist bar, which is light, elegant, polished, and cocktails that look like jewelry. And that's where you're surrounded by art, and the piano is played in the evenings, which I really enjoy. The Vespa bar, it's darker, moodier. It's in green. There's green velvet. There's a bit of gold. It's a little bit seductive. And I feel it's very club like, particularly if you're staying in the hotel. They just treat you with kid gloves just beautifully. And that's where you have a martini. And I know it was really designed around James Bond, so that's where the Vespa comes into it. And there's lots of images on the walls, and yeah, there's a whole martini set that's named after James Bond and James Bond film, which is just fun. But the drinks are good. I mean, mixology globally is having a huge moment, and somewhere like the Dorchester, they've just got it right. Only a few years ago, we would have been talking about a lot of luxury hotels and say, don't have a drink there, go outside. The Dorchester, as I said, I didn't leave. I just stayed there. I loved it. No, that's a lie. I left to use the spa at 45 Park Lane, but I'll get to that in a minute. But they've also opened a relatively new addition to the hotel called Cake and Flowers. This is pure joy. It's just outside on the left, and you walk in. There's gorgeous young people there preparing flowers to go out to people, which are beautiful. There's some slices of cake you can get. So if you just want something, again, just a little bit of decadence one morning, you walk in, it's color, scent, texture. Everything's exquisite, like beautiful on the eye. And there's cake sitting next to the bouquets. It's very feminine, indulgent, slightly over the top in the best possible way. Even if you're not staying at the hotel, this is worth coming in just for a fix and just for a slice of cake. Or if you're going to meet someone at their home, perhaps picking something up to take there, some flowers or some cakes. Yeah, I mean, you can see I love the Dorchester. What can I say? Now, here's an insider secret about fitness and wellness at the Dorchester that a lot of people don't realize. When you stay at the Dorchester, you also get access to the spa at 45 Park Lane. Now, this is huge because the spa of 45 Park Lane is out of this world. It basically is in the basement, and it's the entire floor. You can book a massage, a facial, all of that, which is fantastic. But even if you don't want to do that, they have this incredible relaxing room which has like an open fire situation, cream couches, beautiful artwork. But for me, it was the pool, the massive jacuzzi, the huge sauna, which must seat 20 or 30 people. And the gym is massive with all of the latest equipment. So I could easily go down there and spend 2 hours a day, easily. So a question I get asked all the time, and I know that I'm going to receive lots of messages once this video goes live, is the Dorchester worth it? Look, if you're looking for something minimalist, ultra modern, or quietly anonymous, no. But if you want London at its most glamorous, most confident, most beautifully executed, at its very best, then yes, absolutely. Because the Dorchester doesn't try to reinvent luxury. It simply reminds you what it's supposed to feel like. And once you've experienced that, it's very hard to settle for anything else. And I can't believe it's taken me so many years doing this job to actually stay at the Dorchester London, because I've stayed at many of the Dorchester Collection properties. I'm desperate now to go to America and Dubai and stay at their other properties. But the Dorchester London, wow. I mean, I just can't wait to go back.
Don't forget to subscribe here and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for regular travel updates. You can also hear our episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.